Yo, it's your boy Smoke about their Madden video. Today we got another power rankings video for you, and this is a series we started just this year, and it's going deep into NFL analysis week by week and giving you guys our version of the power rankings. And I say our because alongside with me, there is a guy on the channel named Jay Cutler Pick 6, and he has been a tremendous help so far with these power rankings and just all the videos in general. So me and Jay, we make these power rankings together, and we believe that they are probably the best that we could agree with. Obviously, you're going to have some dispute every now and then, but we all feel that they're pretty good. Obviously, this is subjective since it is rankings. If your favorite team is not number one or they're not exactly where you want them, don't try to be too upset because just be realistic about your team, or maybe we aren't being realistic about your team. I mean, I'll take credit if the rankings look a little whack, but I don't think so. Anyway, starting off with 32, the Las Vegas Raiders, the worst team in the NFL. I think that is pretty fair to say. I mean, Gardner Minshew got injured, and then now AOC is injured. Max Crosby, he took him a little bit to get going, but he is starting to put up some stats. Other than that, who do they really got on defense? Not a huge name. Robert Spillane could be helpful, and so can Trevon Moehrig from time to time. But other than that, they don't got a big splash. I mean, they got McCormick coming in at running back. He's been doing okay. But, yeah, the Raiders are definitely last. 31, the Tennessee Titans, and they just had an embarrassing loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Obviously, they need to start rebuilding, and hopefully they can find a franchise quarterback because I don't feel like Will Levis will be the answer. But only time will tell, and it's still very young in his career. 30, we got the New York Giants. The Giants have been, I don't know. They started off the season pretty well, but now they are starting to fall back down to earth, and they are switching out Drew Lock and then Tommy DeVito. Obviously not really that great when you got those two quarterbacks starting for you. And then the New England Patriots, I mean, I feel like they're a pretty young team that needs a little bit more pieces, but they're coming off a bye, so we can't really move them a whole lot. Jacksonville Jaguars, they do get a win, and it was a very ugly win, but we're still going to have to put them ahead of teams like the Giants and the Titans just because they did make their record stronger, so they do look like a better team. So we are putting the Jacksonville Jaguars up 4 spots. 27, the New York Jets. Jets just coming off a loss as well to the Dolphins. Very, very disappointing season for the Jets. I think Father Time has finally gotten to Rodgers, and Davante Adams, maybe a hint of Father Time. Not quite yet. Not as bad as Aaron Rodgers has it, but maybe it's starting to creep up there for Davante Adams. 26, we got the Chicago Bears. I mean, the Bears, they really did start this season good, but they are starting to fall off tremendously. And with the firing of their head coach, it's a little dysfunctional right now. I know they're just trying to sort things out. When you got a rookie QB and you just fired your head coach, obviously you're going to have to get used to some new things because that is not how you would wanted the season to go or interpret it. So now they're facing some adversity. 25, we got the Cleveland Browns. And man, I will say, if this was a power ranking for the most fun team in the NFL, the Cleveland Browns would probably be number one. I just love Jameis Winston, and I love him on the Browns. He gives us a good 5 viral clips every single game day. But realistically, they have been not performing that well, so they're around 25 coming off a loss. 24, we got the Panthers, and they really did start bottom of the barrel, but it looks like Bryce Young is kind of coming back. Maybe not like the number 1 overall pick that he was expected to be, but we're starting to see some progression out of Bryce Young, and hopefully that will translate to the next year because he is still young. He can still figure it out. I mean, obviously Panthers fans didn't want it to take 3 years for him to figure it out, but maybe he's a late bloomer. You never know. 23, we got the New Orleans Saints coming off a win, but we're not going to bump them up because that win was against the New York Giants. And so that is not a very hard team to beat. And the New Orleans Saints barely beat them. And it came down to a last-second field goal. The Saints were able to block it. I mean, hey, that was an amazing special teams play. You know, they got Rizzi, the head coach. He was the former special teams coordinator. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure he was happy to see his special teams do that. But, yeah, it's not that impressive win over the Giants. And it was a one-possession game, too. So that's the more embarrassing part. is that it was a one-possession game. Anyway, we're not going to hate on the Saints for winning, but they're not going to get bumped up. 22, we got the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts, they had a bye week, so they're just kind of chilling in the same spot, really not moving up or down. And the Atlanta Falcons are coming off of a pretty embarrassing loss, and they might want to think about bringing Michael Penix in. All right, number 20, we got the Dallas Cowboys, and they're coming off a loss. That's actually an embarrassing loss as well. The way that Dallas Cowboys and Cincinnati Bengals game ended, oh my God, it looked good for a second for the Cowboys with that blocked field goal, but then it just barely touched. Well, not just barely, the guy touches it, and then the Bengals recover. I mean, that is just a rough way to lose. But the Cowboys, they are not winning games, and they got injuries. Again, power rankings, we also take into effect injuries. Obviously, maybe if they had Dak Prescott, it'd be a different story, but maybe not, because Dak was struggling earlier this season. Now we got the Cardinals, and the Cardinals really could have been something special. Kyler Murray, oh my God, like the first 5-6 weeks, people were talking about Kyler Murray being a potential MVP, and I was for it. I was like, yeah, I love Kyler Murray. I mean, I feel like he's a great athlete, but he is starting to fall off really fast, and he needs to improve a lot because these last 3 weeks for Cardinals fans have been a little rocky. I'm not going to lie. Cincinnati Bengals, they move up 3 spots going to 18. Hopefully the Bengals are able to make a playoff push if you are a Bengals fan because they have waited long enough. They need to start winning games. 17, we got the 49ers because they just, it's not the 49ers year. I mean, they did come off a win, but anyway, 16, we got the Los Angeles Chargers. They're coming off of a loss to the Kansas City Chiefs off of the doink that won the Kansas City Chiefs that division. Tough luck for the Chargers, but realistically, the Chargers probably should have put up a little bit more points. But we're not going to knock them too hard for that. It was still a pretty good battle for the Chargers. Los Angeles Rams, they're going to move up 4 spots. Now, that was an absolutely amazing game. The Los Angeles Rams versus the Buffalo Bills, that was an amazing game. Probably the best game of the year so far, if not top 3. I felt like that was an amazing game. The Rams came out and they were just playing smash mouth football, absolutely running the ball all over the Bills defense to start. Kyron Williams was doing amazing. Puka Nacua was doing amazing. Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, everybody. But then their defense started to sell a little bit and it became a high-scoring game. Now, amazing win still, but if I'm the defensive coordinator of the Rams, I would be happy with the victory, but I would have a talk with the defense, that's for sure. 14, we got the Houston Texans. They're off a bye. They're moving back 1 spot just because of other people. The other teams ahead of them are affecting it. It's nothing they did. 13, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the Buccaneers starting to look a little bit falling back down to earth. I mean, they still have a record over 500, and Bucky Irving really didn't have that great of a game his last game. I think he was questionable with an injury, though, I'm pretty sure, so that probably affected him a little bit. Number 12, we got the Green Bay Packers, and they're knocking back 5 spots. Now, if you're a Packers fan, and I know you're going to say, what, we have like the 5th best record in the league or something like that. And I know your guys' record is really good. Okay, but this is power rankings, okay? It is not just standings. And when you look at the Green Bay Packers, yes, you guys have a great team. Absolutely. Josh Jacobs is a stud. Jordan Love is a stud. Romeo Doubs is a stud. You guys have an underrated offensive line that I don't think people talk about. Zach Tom is one of the most underrated offensive linemen. Here's the thing. The Green Bay Packers are 1-3 in the division. They really need to start racking up division wins, especially with their NFC North. I think the NFC North has shifted to the best division in football, probably. Actually, not probably. It definitely is. So you guys need to start winning some division games. Miami Dolphins are going to be number 11. They jump up 4 spots. They just came off a big, big win. Ever since Tua's been back, the Dolphins have actually been looking pretty solid. Commanders and Broncos are both coming off a bye, but they are still top 10 teams. The Commanders they slowly started to fall off a little bit. Jaden Daniels, all that hype around him, and then, he kind of had like 2 rough games, but now he's kind of he's kind of back on track. Just hopefully keep that pace earlier in the season. He's a rookie, though. I'm not going to hate too much on him. Number 8, we got the Baltimore Ravens. They were also coming off a bye, but the Ravens still got a good team, and their roster is not really as great as you think the Ravens' record would be. So the Ravens could have a little bit of a better record if I'm just nitpicking, but they have a great roster. That is what kind of is carrying them in the power rankings. Now, I know I just said for the Green Bay Packers, they need to win, but the AFC North is a little bit of a different. It's a little bit different. Okay, you got the Steelers, who are number 7 right there, and that is why they got a better record and they got a better in-division record. But the Steelers, and that's really it. No one else is really up there in the AFC North, at least this year, unless the Cincinnati Bengals can finally get going. Anyway, number 6, the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks have been really good, one of the most underrated teams this year, I feel like. They should be really talked about more, if I'm being honest. Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, they're doing really solid. Number 5, we got the Kansas City Chiefs, and they're moving back one overall. Now, they did just come off a win against the Los Angeles Chargers, but that was a very ugly win, so we're going to knock them back one overall. It's only one. They're still a top 5 team. We know they're still one of the best teams in the league, obviously. We are not Kansas City Chiefs haters. Do we get annoyed by how much the Kansas City Chiefs win? Yeah, I think everybody does. But I think there is a fair difference between glazing the Chiefs or just hating them to hate them. We try to treat them like every team in the NFL. And if any other team would have that record with how many ugly wins that team has, they would be ranked the same. All right, number 4, we got the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings, very good team. Honestly, before the season started, I think one of the most shocking teams. Sam Darnold is doing amazing. Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison both had really great games. 3 of the Buffalo Bills are moving back one because of the loss, and the offense looked really great. Josh Allen did really good, but that defense let up even more points than Josh Allen was able to, and I think Josh Allen had 6 total touchdowns. Yeah, first player ever with 3 rushing touchdowns and 3 passing touchdowns in the same game. Number 2, we got the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles got a great roster. They got a good record. They are number 1 in their division by far. So I feel like, I don't know, it's just pretty sad stone. I mean, obviously the Eagles, they should be a top 5 team just off their roster alone. And the number 1, we got the Detroit Lions. No shock right there. I mean, I was a little bit nervous with them facing the Packers because I was honestly, if I was a betting man, I would have said, you know what, I think the Packers got this. But the Packers did come a little bit short. Very close game, but the Detroit Lions still got one of the best records in football, one of the best rosters in football, and one of the best teams in football and coaches. So anyway, that is the power rankings. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys agree with, what you disagree with. I love to hear all kind of feedback as long as it makes sense. And let me know what you guys feel about the NFL analysis videos. If you would like to see more of them, your feedback is greatly appreciated. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.